Okay, folks, welcome to Swing Trading today. This is Bob Desmond, and it is 5:03. I'm a bit late. Technical issues in the AM, Eastern Standard Time, the 6th of January. All right, so I'll be honest with you. I had a couple of members giving me text back and forth about the Georgia race last night because I couldn't even watch it. I'm so sick of the shenanigans. And you had, looks like this Warnock is going to beat Loeffler, and the other race is up for grabs. Now, I'm not going to go into my opinion of who should get elected, who should not. There's kind of a mixed audience here, so I don't want to alienate people. I will say this. Two things. One, the Republican Party did this to themselves. Remember that both Loeffler and Perdue won, yes, by a margin that required a runoff, but they won on November the 3rd. Here and now, because the Republican Party alienated the Trump supporters so much, they didn't come out. And now they're going to lose. So what does this mean? If there's one thing the markets do not like, whether it be Republican, Democrat, they don't like one-party rule because too much can get done, except for the inept Republican Party, of which I happen to be a registered one. I don't identify as one. I'd rather identify as a flea than a Republican, given their shenanigans over the past decade. So we have a problem here. We have a serious problem. And I'm going to begin with the Russell 2000. It looks as though what they're doing to try to salvage this market is they're squeezing the shorts yet again. They're going back to the old playbook of recent days of squeezing the shorts, and they're pressing the small caps up higher by 2%. I would not fall into this trap. I think it's a trap. I don't think it's going to hold. And the reason why I say that is multifold. Good morning, Costco. MacArthur, good morning. Is this the S&P 500 down a quarter percentage point? I would have thought it would have been down more. The Tues, of which we have a short position in, the NASDAQ 100. Hey, Sam. Good morning to you. The Qs are down over 1 3/4%. Slav, good morning. And it looks as though they're going to go lower. Now, an event is happening right now that hasn't happened since March of 2020. And that event is this. We closed out the day yesterday with yields pressing up higher, and we closed out the session at spot 96% on the 10-year yield. Where are we now? We are at 1.025%. This is a big, big move. Overnight, no less. The last time we were up here, again, was March of 2020. And taking a look at the small caps, which they're pumping right now, the small caps, from a technical perspective, they are breaking down. We even added the shorts earlier in the week. Now, there's no guarantee we're going to be right. Maybe I'm going to be made wrong, and what I'm doing right now is being a big mouth, putting myself out there. But that's what we do. We put ourselves out there and document our opinions so that way people can go back. You know, they want to become a member. Oh, I'm documented. See what my track record is. Don't look and see if I have a rented Lamborghini. Although I did admire Dan Bilzerian's life for a while, until, of course, he got caught. So we have our Stokes. I'm going to ask everyone, please beware of the stochastics here. I'm having a little bit of trouble. Come on, Bobby, you can do it. You can do it. There we go, big fella. Watch the 50 mark. Ugh. Only when I'm live. This is why you need TrendSpider. Link below, 35% off. I'm going to use this as a sales pitch. What are you doing here? I got to get rid of this. I've never had that problem before. All right. You get my drift. I don't know what the hell's going on with the annotation tool. Watch for these Stokes to trade down below the 50 mark. If they do, they're already beginning. You have your fast line on the Stoke trading down below 50. That means not all that much. Once you start getting bulk lines on Stokes trading down below 50, rallies tend to fade, folks. Rallies tend to fade. Beware. We are not entering a good time. We are not entering a good time. Just want to refresh to see if there's any updated news. Have they closed down the center? Are they bringing in new ballots? We'll know in 45 days whether or not this race is official. This is how bad this country has become. I was watching this guy yesterday. He's out of the Virginia legislature, I believe, and he's talking about how in Virginia it's become so screwed up, the election system, that each county or area, I don't know how it is down in Virginia, I'm not familiar, I have a buddy down there, has their own different way of running elections, and they call it not election day nowadays, they call it election season. I digress. Let's take a look at Zero Hedge really quick. Chinese is still at it in Hong Kong. Nothing new there. Good man, Rowan Atkinson, speaking out. He'll be deplatformed soon. Bitcoin surges. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. That's the logical thing to go into, along with gold. Yep. Nice setup here. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. We hit new all-time highs. When was this? Oh, it was last night. That's why I didn't watch it. Okay. New all-time highs last night. Faded a bit. I think we're going up higher. Take a look at gold. All the money is rotating into safe haven assets. The small caps are not a safe haven asset. So this, to me personally, I could be wrong. I'm going to throw it out there. I think it's a big pump and dump on the Russell 2000. Gold up over 1/3 of a percentage point. We have a big position in the gold miners. I was hoping for more of a pullback. We may not get it. If we do get it, I'll be adding more. We'll be sending out alerts to members. Also, the silver miners, excuse me, this is silver, spot silver. We're long of silver and the silver miners. And they are moving up higher, or silver is moving up higher, up over 1.5%, nearly 1.6% this morning. Why? The dollar is a basket case. Take a look at this. I'll point this out to you too. Let's go to a daily chart really quick. U.S. dollar, daily chart. When you get price action like this, things get real funky really fast. I was going to use the Dixie. I'm going to go to the dollar bull ETF to illustrate my point. Let's just bring it up. So when I did market wrap on I believe it was Monday. No, actually he's here. What was the 4th? Yeah, Monday. Okay, cool. So I'm talking about this outside reversal bar, and I said, you know what? I was suspect that we may rally on the final day of December into the new year, and we did. And this was an outside reversal bar, meaning, or it's also known as a bullish engulfing if you want to pull it up on Investopedia or something. We took out the lows of the 31st only to close at the highs of the day and fully engulfing the price action of the 31st. Very, very bullish setup. I mean, really bullish setup. What happened yesterday? We took out the lows of the 4th. You don't get much more bearish than this. Back to the dollar, and the reason why I don't go over the Dixie on market wrap sometimes because I do it early. And this, see, this says EOD, that means end of day. And it doesn't update until sometimes 6, 7 o'clock. And I want to get market wrap out to members before then. So when you take a look, if I had this available to me, I would have been helpful. I wouldn't have been as bullish on the dollar because the price action of the Dixie, this is a basket of currencies relative to, and this is important, folks, relative to the euro, yen, British pound, flashed a hammer formation, was unable to close positive. When I look at this chart, I understand why we broke down yesterday, because this was not a full bullish engulfing, and it looks as though we are going to, as a matter of fact, we've already broken down to new lower lows today. This election, if we get one-party rule, is not going to end well. Can the markets net move up higher? Yes, they can. I'm going to put together some historical data for tomorrow night, Thursday night stock charts live. And I will go over if, in fact, the Republicans screw up yet again, they stab themselves in the back. I'll go over the historical precedents of what happens during one-party rule versus a split, divided government. The markets can move up higher, but you see a poorer performance by far in a one-party rule system. So join us tomorrow night, Thursday night stock charts live, and we will go over that historical performance. Let's take a look at other commodities. I think this is going to be a commodity day. Yeah, I mean, oil, ripping. People no longer, they're not going to want U.S. denominated assets because if the Republicans, if this Loeffler race goes to the Democrats, as it appears, the Purdue race will go to the Democrats. We will have one-party rule. We will have a socialist government. They won. Wrap your arms around it. It's official. We're there. We have a Supreme Court who wouldn't even hear the merits of the presidential election. They said the president and Texas have no standing. Well, they certainly have standing now. At least Texas does. Maybe not the president. Light sweet crude pushing up higher, up over a percentage point. And this is not because people are predicting higher demand for commodities. It's because the dollar is going to tank like a rock. Natural gas, why is it not tanking or moving up higher? Reason is that we produce so much of it here in the United States, it's not as positively impacted by a declining U.S. dollar. We're like the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. The VIX. Shockingly, the VIX is down. I'm very, very surprised here. Let's go back to the S&P 500 really quick. This is a tell. We have S&P 500 down with the VIX down. That's not supposed to happen. And to be honest, despite my pessimism this morning, that's frankly a bullish event for the S&P 500. If both were up, meaning S&P 500 up, VIX up, that tells me that you have people out there buying VIX insurance contracts against their long positions. But right now, the inverse is happening. You have people that are selling equities, but they're not picking up short instruments. Let's continue to watch this. Let's check out copper. Copper breaking out here. Big breakout. Look at this. This is a major league breakout, assuming that we close at or above current highs on copper. Home heating oil moving up. If you're on home heating oil as I am, buckle up. This is going to get more expensive. Feeder cattle up, but moving lower on the week. Let's go back to a 4-hour chart to get a feel for real-time action. Yeah, we broke down here, lower high and broke down. We're trying to recapture that support level. Let's go take a look at agriculture. People are starting to catch on now that you're starting to see inflation. Yeah, well, look at this. Wheat popping up well over a half percentage point. People are starting to realize food prices are moving up higher. Is it time to buy oil? We'll take a look at a daily chart. I saw the move up higher in energy yesterday. I was kind of taken aback by it. I didn't expect it. I expected the XLE to move down to 36. I was looking for a buy point there. So admittedly, I was taken aback by the move up higher. The caveat is that we did sell off the highs of the day yesterday. That's on the energy sector. Now, how oil closed out, off the top of my head, I don't believe I went over it last night on Market Wrap. We'll take a look at the daily setup in a moment. My gut reaction is that in all probability, yes, because you had the Saudis come out and say that they were going to adjust their production for the new year to offset what the Russians did. I believe the Russians said they were going to increase production, and the Saudis said they were going to cut production. Gasoline. Look at this. You know, I have always been a fiscal conservative, a registered Republican. I don't identify as a Republican, except during the Reagan days. But this is what you get with one-party rule, absolute power, corrupts absolutely, and now that it's going to be socialist government, I mean, rather freaky. So, gasoline moving up higher. Let's take a look at where we're at on the weekly chart, macro view. We are at highs, last seen back here in March. Think about all the people out of work. The government has found it fit to throw them $600 after they paid thousands in taxes. They've thrown them $600, and gasoline prices, commodity prices are going to eat through that like termites through a piece of rotted wood. Platinum. Folks, you got to be long of commodities. Platinum's going to break out. This is a 4-hour chart. Palladium. Palladium breaking out. A little bit of resistance above. Let's go to the weekly chart really quick. Look at this massive breakout. Look at this long-term wedge formation. Last week, we poked our nose out above this resistance level. This week, we pulled back, retested not just the upper band, but the lower band, and are now reversing. Now, yes, we have a couple of more trading days left to go in the week. It's hump day. A lot can happen. For all I know, it breaks down and goes to 2,200. But it's improbable. In all probability, we are moving up a lot higher here on palladium. So the net observation here is that we are seeing commodities. Oats are off their high, but this is still a weekly chart. Multi-month highs here on oats. The net opinion is that we are seeing money rotate out of the U.S. dollar into commodities across the board, whether it be food, whether it be energy, whether it be precious metals, whether it be industrial metals. They're all moving up higher. What are they doing with equities? Let's circle back. Because I can't believe the divergence between the Russell 2000, which they're still pumping up higher. We haven't taken out last week's highs yet, but we're not that far away either. They're still squeezing the shorts here. They want you to look here. Watch us squeeze the shorts. Everything's great. This is what the government wants you to watch. They don't want you watching this. The NASDAQ 100. This is Microsoft. Microsoft breaking down. Let's take a look at some of these names. Who was it? Costco. Let's take a look at oil for you. Do I want to use the USO? That's fine. Let's begin with a weekly chart first. All right, so what we have thus far in the week, and remember that it's still early in the week. A lot can happen. So when we use a weekly chart, we want to remember it's still pre-market on Wednesday. 3 trading days, full trading days left to go. But thus far, that being stated as a caveat, we have an outside reversal bar fully engulfing last week's price action. This is a very bullish candlestick. It looks as though we're going to rally up and into the declining 50-period moving average. We can overshoot it, but I suspect that what we'll do is we'll rally up and into it, then we'll get a pullback. Watch for your 50-period moving average to flatten out. Watch for a pullback on oil after challenging that declining 50-period moving average. Once you get that pullback, perhaps a filling of the gap if one opens up next week, then you want to look to enter oil. Let's take a look at a daily chart. Breakout yesterday. We broke out. Closing breakout. Highs not seen since March. That's the theme, folks. That's the theme. Pretty much every commodity and pretty much every commodity I've gone over, that I've gone over so far, and including, and this is what I meant by it's still early on, first cup of coffee, including interest rates, 10-year yield, which I went over earlier. They're at highs not seen since March. Now, you might be saying, you know what? It looks like the economy is in full recovery. I don't think so. Because the dollar is dropping to lows not seen since 2018. People are losing confidence in the U.S. economy. And the fact that you have socialists taking over now, that's not going to help the situation any. So emerging markets looking good. Commodities looking good. Equities, I'm in shock that the Russell 2000 is moving up so high. Look at the NASDAQ. It's threatening to break down. Still 4-hour chart. It's threatening to break down to new session lows. So what's the lead or the largest position in the Tues, the NASDAQ 100? Microsoft. Look at Microsoft lately. Very weak, and it's going to get weaker. What's it doing in the pre-market? Gapping down. Look at this gap down. And I've been wanting to short Microsoft for a long time. For those of you that have been watching for any length of time, I've been warning. Microsoft is a bubble. Take a look at this quarterly chart. Despite the recent pullback, quarterly RSI, this was at 93 a few days ago. It's still at 89.92 on RSI quarterly time frame. Stokes are now beginning to show some pressure and possibly rolling over. It gets better. Yearly chart of Microsoft. RSI 91.71. And just as what happened back here, the last time we were this overbought on Microsoft, this was 1999, the dot-com, the final year of the dot-com bubble. Here was 2000, no new yearly high. What's the similarity? Very similar in terms of being overbought. Here was 2020, 2021, no new yearly high. Still early in the year, a lot can happen. But this does not look good for Microsoft. All right, let's take some chart requests. I think symbol for Palladium is PALL. That's the ETF, PALL, I believe. Yeah, that's the Aberdeen Standard Physical Shares ETF. I don't think the continuous contract is updating right now. No, this is an end of day chart. So this is as of last night. Look at this breakout. So to answer your question, PALL. Pot stocks are going to be the place to be because socialists love to get stoned. And they love that tax revenue. So I'll give it to, if there's one sector that's going to do well, it's going to be the weed stocks. And with oil moving up higher, expect alternative energy to do really well. CMG, good morning, R-Train. RL, good morning. It was funny yesterday, China stock, like Bob, has surged like crazy after the news about no delisting stuff. Yeah, it's because the NYSE is getting orders now from the Biden administration, and guess who's pulling on Biden for influence? So I'm still surprised at the NYSE's decision, but it is what it is. Today's going to be a fireworks day. For whatever reason, MacArthur, strange. YouTube keeps... no. MacArthur, you want to re-input that symbol? YouTube, for whatever reason, held it for watch. Strange. I think they're going to be hypersensitive with what gets posted today. What else do we have here? Watch FTSE 100 melting up days after new lockdown was announced. Makes no sense. We are in Never Neverland. There you go, pal. All right, I just approved that. Costco, is it worth to buy any after the fireworks? Palladium? Costco? If you're referring to palladium, I think the palladium is going to move up higher. I think precious metals, industrial metals, like Dennis Gartman always used to say, if you could drop it on your foot and it hurts, you want to own it. Because this is a nice breakout. I mean, forget about the daily chart. Let's not get wrapped up with daily charts. Let's pull back to a monthly chart of palladium. We're going higher here. You know, sure, we have resistance up here, but your momentum indicators are very, very strong. Volume has dropped down. Weekly chart. The breakout here is, let me see if I have a saved chart. Shockingly, I do not have a saved chart. Let's update this one. Let's throw some lines up here. Here you go. Here's where we're at. We are flirting with a major breakout on palladium, a massive triangle formation. They tried to break it out yesterday. It was rejected. I think by the end of the week, they will have broken out palladium. I think palladium's a buy. You know, on a daily chart, you are a bit extended relative to the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Before we leave this chart, go to a daily chart. You already have RSI, which is broken out on a weekly time frame. Very powerful. So I'm bullish on palladium. On the daily chart, I just have a thing about stocks or commodities trading into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band in red doesn't mean it's not going up higher. It just means that near term it's a bit extended. I mean, if you take a look at, was it URA? We're long. That's the wrong symbol, Bob. URA. Again, I did it. No, it's not uranium. We're long of uranium. That thing just simply ripped yesterday. It was EDC. EDC, which is emerging market leveraged ETF, which we're long of. I thought we were going to pull back. I was getting ready to pull the trigger to book profits. But yesterday, we ripped up again, trading into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. So we've been there for a couple of consecutive trading days. Eventually, we're going to pull back here to alleviate this overbought condition. We were up nearly 7% on this trade yesterday alone. So just be careful. Long story short, we're going to get a lot of money moving into commodities today. They're going to get short-term overbought. There will be a pullback. Don't get too aggressively long of them. Wait for the pullback. You want to nibble now, fine. But don't get overweight right here, right now, because they're very volatile. All right, let's take a look at some. I got to go to the members area first. Take a look at what was requested. And if we have time, I'll take some quotes from the audience. Bear with me 1 second, folks. All right, members area, we have, what's today, 6th? We have PLTR. Not much. And OPTT. Okay, let's do this. I only have 2. I'm not liking the light background today. All right. OPTT. I did a video on this several weeks ago. I liked it longer term, but I said there was going to be a pullback, and we got the pullback. Let's go to a monthly chart. All right, nice orderly pullback here, monthly time frame. I did the video back here. It's still posted on YouTube. Let's do this. We're in a triangle formation. Stokes is still rising. Which is easy to see for you folks? The dark background or the white background? Weekly chart looking very good. I mean, it's down past couple of weeks, but we're consolidating here. Stokes are rising. Daily chart. I don't like these Stokes on a daily time frame. They're down below 50. We are consolidating here. I would wait for either this lower band of support to get hit, and I'm going to keep this active for a while because I've been wanting to buy this. or wait for a breakout above this resistance level. And we'll keep this active for, I'm going to keep this active for several weeks. All right, so our alert is set. I would buy or open a position down here on a retest of support. If, in fact, we rally and break out above this upper band of resistance, I'd be a buyer, adding more to my position. So OPTT, longer term bullish, shorter term, a little bit cautious. I think we can go lower. Yesterday was a good reversal bar, but I still think ultimately we're going to come down here. The one caveat, this is a alternative energy play, so they may do very well today and in the short term anyway. So we'll keep an eye on it. OPTT looking good longer term. Let's take a look at MJ. RL, I'm doing this for you because you brought up the weed stocks. This is certainly an area that we'd want to focus on. This is a monthly chart. We're very close to a major resistance level. We have one here which we got through. We're above it. We tapped it this week. Here's our second resistance level. I want to pull down further before I give you my opinion, but I like this 1607 mark. I like the 1474 mark. Weekly chart. We had broken down last week below lower band of support. We retested support. This week, we recaptured that 1474 mark. It looks as though we're going to move up higher. I like these Stokes. Higher lows. Very nice day yesterday. Weed stocks look like they were about to take off. Yep. Major league breakout yesterday. MJ going higher. Very nice. It's moving up higher. Like the weed stocks. Chipotle. Bear with me 1 second, folks. I need to make a note. All right. CMG. All right, so here's one of the valuable things about using TrendSpider. It's a time saver. So I'm going to click this button here where it says trend lines. Look at that. This is now telling me a story. It's telling me, Bob, Chipotle broke out, monthly time frame. It broke out back here in August. It spent 1, 2, 3 months, excuse me, 3 months consolidating, retesting that breakout. Very, very healthy price action. And we have now broken out. We broke out in December, and we're doing exactly what we were doing back here. We had broken out again in August, retest in September, What do we do back here? Broke out in December, retest in January. I love the setup. Weekly chart. Not a good week last week. Not a great week this week. But as the automated trend lines are telling us, this is pretty good support below. So what I want to do here is set my alert, keep a little bit of sensitivity. Long entry potential because I don't know if it's going to hold that support level. We're going to want to watch it to ensure that it holds support if we do get a pullback. Now, what else I want to do here, I want to overlay on a weekly chart monthly resistance. And support. And here it is down here. I just refreshed the data. Yeah, I'm going to want to wait for a pullback and a retest. For whatever reason, this chart just changed. Daily chart. I'm going to want to validate what I'm seeing on, yeah, the daily chart's validating. We rallied back off of support yesterday, but we rallied up and into daily resistance. So what I would do here is look for a breakout above support or resistance, I should say. CMG daily. And this is the value of the automated trend lines. Click of a button. Boom. And these are the weeklies that we have highlighted here. So CMG looking interesting. I always like to validate what I'm looking at on multiple charts. Good long-term bull run, still healthy. Under pressure though. Lower highs on RSI. I think this is a show me stock. It's got to show us that it has strength. I wouldn't buy the dip here, and I'll tell you why. We closed out the day yesterday with Stokes down below 50. And I always say this, I'll keep repeating it because it's so true, particularly with individual names. Rallies tend to fade when you have Stokes trading down below 50. So to me, these Stokes need to get resolved. They need to hook back up, flatten out, hook back up, and we need to see higher prices. Right now, this is a stock under pressure. So while we had a good rebound yesterday, it's not enough. While we held the 50-day moving average yesterday, it's not enough. So I would wait. I would show a lot of patience here. Let's see what it's doing in the pre-market. Nothing. Nothing yet. I'll take a couple more requests, and then I'm going to circle back through the futures and say good day to everyone. CAT. It's attempting to break out. It's being rejected. I would really wait and see how this day pans out before I got long of CAT. It should do okay. And you may be saying, isn't a bunch of socialists getting elected? Isn't that bearish for industry? Well, not the mining industry. The mining industry should do pretty well. And CAT certainly has an exposure there. So I wouldn't rule out potential higher highs here. But I don't see a compelling reason right here, right now to open up a new position. We have broken out on the week. I'd wait until Friday. Do we hold? Let me see if I have a saved chart. Yeah. Do we hold this breakout? I think that at a bare minimum, within the next week or two, we're going to get a retest of the breakout point at 180. So I don't see a compelling reason to go running in right here on a Wednesday pre-market to go buying the shares. I'd like to see how we close out the week. If we close above resistance, well, the market sent us a signal. CAT should do well. But I'd wait. FQVLF. Well, this is a real powerful stock. First Quantum Minerals. Well, it's in a good sector, that's for sure. It's extended, but it looks as though it's going to have higher highs here. The volume this week looks good. I mean, you only have 2 trading days in the books, and volume looks very, very good. Where have we been? Monthly chart. A bit extended here, but it can go higher. Here's what I really like, is this, and this is the value of using multi-time frame analysis. That's the school that I'm from. Here you have a major higher low, and now what we have as of last month is a breakout. So it's a W formation, higher low, breakout forming the right side of the W. Now we've broken out above the pivot point. Very powerful chart. I think this goes higher. All right, folks, I want to circle back through the futures. Again, join us tomorrow night, Thursday night, for Thursday Night Stock Charts Live, where we go over the weekly charts. Hopefully we'll have the results of the Georgia Senate race, and we'll be able to divine which way this market's going to go. If it's a one-party system, we'll go over the statistics of what's happened in the past. So there's a link below. Enter email address, 15-minute alert prior to us going live. All right, so let's go to the dollar first. Very close to the lows of the session. Gold off its highs, but still up. I think it goes higher. silver off its highs, but I think it goes higher. Let's take a quick peek at equities. Russell 2000 continues to pile on gains. We have now overshot the highs of last week. We faded, but we now have new yearly highs on the Russell. The NASDAQ is nearly the mirror opposite. The NASDAQ 100. Threatening to break down to new lower lows. S&P 500. We have a bit of an anomaly here for those just checking in. And if I could ask you to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out with the YouTube algo. S&P 500 still down a 0.25 percentage point. We broke support on Monday, trying to fight back here, but it's not looking good. The however is that earlier the CBOE volatility index, the VIX, was down as well, which really is not supposed to happen, and it's still down. So it leads me to believe that the S&P may fight back here. It's going to be a fireworks day. This is going to be one of the most interesting trading days of our lifetimes. An interesting time to be alive. It really is. Bitcoin. Overnight, new all-time highs. Holding support. And we'll leave off with, what do we want to leave off with? Let's leave off with what everybody touches except for EV car owners. And they'll get you somehow. Gasoline. We are at highs not seen since early March. And it looks as though we're going higher on gasoline. All right, folks, I want to thank you very much for joining in. It's going to be a firecracker day. Everybody have a very, very positive day. MacArthur, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate that very much. I just saw that. Our Costco, what percentage drop are you expecting? I would love to throw a number out there. I assume that you're talking about equities. I think the NASDAQ 100, by and large, is very overdone. It's overcooked, especially Microsoft. I don't know the percentage. I think once this thing gets going in the wrong direction, we could take out the March lows, to be honest with you. But, scratch the butt. Think about this. We have the Federal Reserve, which is pumping $120 billion worth of stimulus into the economy each month, whether it be mortgage-backed securities, buying treasuries, whatever. What are yields doing? Remember what we started off with today. This is the closing price of yields since April when they hit their lows. They've done nothing but go up. This morning, let's go to bonds. We have a one handle for the first time since March on the 10-year yield. So God forbid the market perceives that the Federal Reserve doesn't have the control. I'll put it to you this way. God forbid the market realizes the emperor has no clothes. This thing can get real fast, going in the wrong direction, and I wouldn't want to speculate on what the downside could be because I wouldn't even want to imagine it. So watch inflation, watch gold, watch the dollar. TBT. I own a bit of TBT. I've had it for a while. It's basing. We could be setting up for a W formation. Could break out. It's a speculative play. We're still in a downtrend. I would not get overweight with this. But if yields continue up higher, for those not familiar, TBT is a short ETF of the 20-year bond, which broke down yesterday. So, if anything, TBT looks as though it's moving up higher. Good morning, Big Bear. That's right. Better late than never. Tesla. I mentioned yesterday about Tesla that I've been a major bull on Tesla. I think that anybody that shorted it was a bit nuts. But I am getting that feeling that it's getting a little bit overdone. But I still wouldn't short it. I think there's more upside here. Volume dropped off yesterday. I think it'd still move up higher. But I'm not as bullish as what I once was. Simply because of the technicals. That's all. And that's it, folks. Everybody have a profitable trading day. I'll talk to you soon. Be well.